Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leja, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
Back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Paul Buitron. I'm here with a great guest and a great friend and somebody is from Laredo, Rick Garza. How are we doing? You doing good, Rick?
Doing great, man. Good Sunday.
It's a good Sunday. And things have happened good in Laredo, and especially, we want to thank Jennifer Lozano for becoming the first Olympian and bringing Laredo back to that little flame of spark of we are from Laredo, that unity.
That pride, man. The pride is she's brought a lot of people. I mean, you're walking a little bit taller, your chest is a little bit further pumped out because we have one of our own out there. And people should understand that. People should rally around that because it's not easy. It's really not easy to get up there and win or lose. She's brought some, we all ought to be proud of her for putting Laredo on the map at the world scale.
Absolutely. Very proud of her and what she's done, and much blessings for her. And I hope her journey doesn't end here; it continues going forward. Absolutely. But we're here because a little birdie said that you're going to be running for city council.
Yes, I'm very proud of that. Yeah, I signed up. I had this thing in my mind since last November. I only put myself in a situation where I was going to be put 80 years on at the LISD school board, but I fell in love with that job. I still am. I still got a lot of fire in me to help the kids out in the school district. And so I went for the third term, and we did a bunch. I mean, I've done a bunch of great things in there, and we've done a bunch of great things over there that have taken the school district from to the next level for the next 30, 40, 50 years. So, finishing out my term there, this opportunity came up with the city and talked it over with my family, and they were excited about it. I have to have a full tank of gas to give to my city. But really, this whole journey started back in 1988 with me when the first time that George H.W. Bush gave his 1,000 Points of Light speech when he won the presidency. Really motivated me, because in that speech, that's what it meant. It's activism and volunteerism. And
yes,
it really pumped me up to go out there and do what I'm doing right now. So you fast forward, some 35, 36 years later, and I've been doing it ever since. So that's why in my my motto for this campaign is a lifetime of commitment, service, volunteerism, and the respect for our city, because we have a lot of work to do. Proud to be part of the changes that are going on, and God willing, I'll be there in November to do my thing at the city.
Absolutely. You mentioned something there. You said activism, volunteerism, and you do that for the community. There's an old saying my uncle used to say is, "Vives para servir, si no sirves para vivir," and that's something that we carry on with us, and that's what we try to be here. A lot of people say, "Oh, activism," because there's a lot of activists out there, and they say, "Oh, they're bringing up this mistake that's here in the city, or this is going on, and they're trying to bring something new, or they're trying to see something that can be fixed." People say, "Oh, they hate Laredo. Look, they're always complaining." It's not that they're complaining. It's because their passion is so much they want to better everything, that sometimes they get caught up on an issue that's not going anywhere. And I think that's what we hear in Laredo a lot. And we need people now, especially in this day and age, that have some type of understanding and some type of common sense, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, this whole process, really, at the end of the day, it requires patience, understanding, and for me, it's just been. I kind of narrowed it down to this: so long as I fix my own little corner of the world and do the things that I need to do to make it in my little corner of the world better, we can all do that together. If I do my job and everybody does their job, we're going to win. That's the bottom line. So. Everybody can, and you see it on a national level, you see it on the news every day. Anybody, the easiest thing is to go out there and cry and yell about the mistakes that people are making. That's the easiest thing. Anybody can find mistakes anywhere. It's putting of your own time and your own money and your own will to go out there and fix it is para servir. That's the one you were talking about right now. But all these people that go out there and just complain and complain and complain and do nothing, they don't know. Well, the problem is also that they don't know how to fix the problem themselves. I used to tell everybody that would come up to me at LISD, and I still do. Don't just give me the problem. Look, give me solution-based ideas, and we'll talk about them, and we'll figure out how we're going to get this done. There is really no wrong answer to this. Give me an extreme view, and let's talk about that extreme view and why it's not going to happen. A lot of things that are going on with the city right now, I see that there's a lot of that complaining going around. But in my line of work and what I do at LISD, I kind of turn all of the conversation from defense to offense. In other words, for the longest time here at the city, people go out there and complain, and it gets fixed. So it got to the point where people got used to complaining so it can get fixed, rather than finding a solution to it as an offensive tool and set up a game plan so that you can go out there and fix these problems, rather than wait for the problem to occur to come to you. So the attack mode of being an offensive-minded player, for me, is to go out there and figure out what those problems are, break them down, and then strategize as to how you're going to fix them, put a timeline to it, and go accomplish your goal. It's as simple as that. I have a saying over here at LSD that I tell them, I work slowly, methodically, and smart. That's the mentality you have to do, because you're not going to move the Titanic in one turn of the wheel. You got to move it little by little until everybody is on the same boat, going to the same direction. And we've done that at LSD, and I know I can bring that over here.
And that's what we need, because right now there's a lot of people complaining as to where you see, and a lot of people call and they say, "Oh, this happens here. What are you going to do about it? Who am I?" But there's certain things that people say that you kind of pay attention to. Sure. I've been very, very much involved with small businesses. I've always had a business. It's always been mine. I've been involved with small business since the age of 18 to the present, and helped a lot of people open up their own and move forward in many different things. And what you see here, and my concern towards small businesses, is that it seems that Laredo has forgotten. Now, when I talk about Laredo, I'm talking about the municipality. I'm not talking about the people of Laredo. I'm talking about the government of the municipality of Laredo. Have forgotten what small businesses are. And when you have a lot of hurdles that they have to pass through, and the council members, there's a disconnect between the council members, the directors to the employees of that department. And like right now, we've been trying to fix certain issues that we have in our location. And we had an inspector come out, and he leaves me with his hand open. And you're saying, "Hello, how are you?" And you extend your hand, and they leave you with a hand open. They come in there, they start raising your voice towards you. You've heard these things over and over people, and they tell you this happened here. You have a lot of friends that are in construction, or they're electricians or air conditioning or what have you, and they say, "Oh, that's a big problem that we have there," or they're in real estate and they're trying to open up new suites for people, and they say it was supposed to be open in September. Now they're not going to be open up until January because all these hurdles that are coming up. Are we actually hindering ourselves, or is it the attitude or the subculture that's in there? And if it's the attitude and subculture that's inside the department, then we have to start fixing those departments for them to run smoother. Maybe we have to let go people. Maybe we have to hire people. You understand what I'm saying?
I have my opinion. Yeah, that's it. No, go ahead.
And when you look at it that way, it's not a complaint, because if you call and say, "Oh, this happens," or you bring it to their direction, they might say, "Oh, that person's complaining again. Oh, they're doing this." It's not complaint. We have a serious issue at hand here. We have a serious issue with issues that are going on with the police department. We have several issues over here, and you have this wheel that's always, you're hearing the same complaints over and over. Let's start paying attention to them. Let's see what's going on there to find a solution to better run the city.
Look, you hit on a key word right there. The word is culture. And I've been around the city. I've volunteered, and served in as many committees as I can there. Like I said, I've been a volunteer for the city for the last 36 years. And they have some really, really bright people in there. They really have some great working people in there. Our council has some great people in there. From the outside looking in, or giving you the 10,000-foot view, there is some structural issues in there in between all of that there seems to be not that there's a communication gap that needs to get filled. And part of the problem that I see is that with the culture that was there before was that you would call your city council person to fix those problems, and the city council person would take that and personally go fix it himself, without putting all the people in line that are there to fix it. And
Correct.
So when you do that kind of stuff, you become used to doing that all the time. And some of my friends that were ex-city council guys, the amount of time that they were putting on this was ridiculous. It's not sustainable. It is not productive, because they would go out there and fix the problem, or go over the top and do what needed to be done at the expense of the credibility of the director, supervisor, city manager, and all that. Right now, there's that gap that exists. It's very difficult for anybody in there to make decisions at the administrative level, because all one has to do is pick up the phone and call one of the city council people, and you're going to go over their head. And so that mentality and that culture has existed for the longest time. And my job is really to go in there and take a great look at that and try to reverse the tide. I know that used to be the case at LASD, and little by little, we chipped away at the problem and trying to fix that type of thinking. And that type of thinking also brings morale down. That's why I think you don't see a lot of employees that are going out there, inspectors, in a great mood to go out there and do their job, because they feel like they sometimes are forgotten, and they get overwhelmed with people that are there. They're being told to say yes to somebody and no to somebody else, things like that. And then I know it existed because I'm in the same business as you, So I used to get all those people, and I used to talk to them, and obviously we try to create a friendlier tone to try and work with them and all that kind of stuff. But there's also some people that are just not ever going to change their attitude,
Yeah.
and that has to be looked at too. But internally, I do know that given the opportunity, and I'm super proud of this, because I did that, like I said, at LISD, I sat down with people and but one simple question: what do I have to do to make you successful? Okay, tell me what you do for a living, and let's talk about what we're going to do. And the reason that I did that was to only figure out when we speak to each other, I know where you're coming from, so that I can know that. And a lot of time people get elected and they have limited or no experience. So they don't know what the engineering department does. They don't know what operations does. They don't know what the legal department does. And so they're going in there, and these people are making decisions for those people when they have a clue, right? And so it creates a little bit of an animosity in there when they think that they do, but they don't. So a lot of times they have to sit there for about a year, 2, 3 years, and listen and learn, because it's super interesting. But the structural problems that are there is just due to a communications gap that I foresee in there. And a lot of it has to do with one side not having the knowledge that the other one has, and one other side that has knowledge doesn't know how to transfer that knowledge to this other side. So in other words, there's a learning curve in there that you have to do. You have to pick up a lot of stuff, do it pretty fast. but you have to do your homework too. Your job more than anything else right now is not to go, pick up trash or anything like that. As a council president, you have to do your homework and figure out where everything is at and how all those moving parts work. And once you do that, you can get everybody in that council to get on that same boat and steer in the same direction. And I think that's where the problem is with that frustration.
Yeah, I think so. And you see that, you hear that frustration with the rhetoric that's going on with many people that complain and bovate on Facebook and so on and so forth. And you see that it's a dysfunctionality that's going on in our government that has lost the faith of the people, and we need it back. And that's why again we're so proud of Jennifer Lozano, because she brought that back. You know, that we have to have that rekindlement of, we need that from our city as well. And I think that dysfunctionality, it's either they're, how can I say? Because we have some great people working in there, and I'm not cutting down the city one bit. We have some great individuals that are working for our city.
Yeah,
and I think there's a gap there, like you said, that lack of communication. A doesn't know what Z's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And B is trying to tell P who goes next. You know, and I think that right there gets some restructure coming in. You know, we had. And it was like you said, the previous administration left behind. I don't know. It's a mess. And you know, how many city councilmen did we go in through? 8. You know, so we need people that we need to go in there and say, you know what? Let's start moving forward, and everybody let's start working together, and let's start pushing this for the benefit of it. And that's what type of people we need. So in that sense, that's a type of what you can bring to this office, and I think that's what you're explaining.
I do, and because I have the experience to do that, I've done it before, and it that world of experience that I have, the lifetime of experience that I have on that, it didn't come easy. You know, I rattled some, ruffled some feathers along the way, not because it was I wanted to do it, but you know, I needed to find out. And what I usually tell everybody over there, and they started making fun of me because they said, I want to get to the problem to the cellular level, to figure out what the problem is from here. That's the same thing over here. We got to get down to the bottom of the problem and then restructure it and build it up again and build that trust, bring back the morale and trust and that working environment and more than anything, so that customer service is never going to be there the way you like it. We don't fix this from within. And like I'm telling you, there are some pretty bright people there, pretty smart people in there that, given the opportunity, I go back to LISD because I'm going to use the same terminology that I did over there to try and help them, because as soon as I found out who they were and what they did for a living, and my job was to give them the support to thrive, so that we don't have to have people coming over their heads to come to us and eliminate and take my time because they want something done that they already are experts at doing, right? So pretty much boxing out everybody and allowing the employees to do their job has been the key. And right now, if everybody's allowed to do their job, and that comes in building a great evaluation system, you got a great salary structure, and you got to bring the best and the brightest and all these kind of things. But people don't have, I think, outside looking in, they don't have the confidence in city government right now that they should, because they've been let down so many times, and it just continues. And then and you brought up a great point right now. You really have to call it for what it is. You've had an incredible amount of turnover over the last 10 years. When are you supposed to get any type of cohesion, any type of people working together? Because there's a lot of moving parts coming in and out. You just have to gain their trust, the personalities have to in line, and then plus you got all of the things, all the incredible growth that's going on in the city, and people need to have their stuff done. I know several developers right now that are going, I mean, we can't get a decision from the city. It's slowing us down. They want to move the city forward, and I want to be part of the ones that, facilitate all of that, remove the red tape that's around there, or just become more customer service oriented, so that not get them what they want for nothing, but be able to come up with a solution-based idea and solve the problem, and in days, not weeks or months. A little hiccup happens and it takes months to figure out. And all of that is just keeping us from moving forward. And those little speed bumps that we've had over the past 20, 30, 40 years, those little speed bumps are the ones that are just slowing us down further and further. But then again, like I said, with a large, turnover in employees and council people and all that, you have to realize that there's going to be problems. So I understand what those problems are, fix them as you go along, but make sure you fix them. Don't avoid them and just go ahead and that's what I'm telling you. A lot of times I see us over there that they're playing defense. They're just going like, bring the problems to me and then we'll resolve it, instead of saying, okay, this is how we're going to fix this problem before it even happens. We're going to have to create systems of success there. I have a saying that I tell all the people at over here also. A lot of times when people are all usually mad and can't get anything done and can't transfer the information and educate each other and things like that. And I say, sometimes your frustration is a direct result of your disorganization. Disorganization, by that I mean your thought process and speaking to somebody else is not there. You don't know how to, it's sort of like telling that kid the first time you teach in the Sabate classes, right? And you tell that kid 1,000 times to do it this way and he doesn't get it. But man, you keep on saying it, and that 1,001 time when he gets it, he's going to get it for life. Well, over here, because of that communication, you're supposed to pick up on a lot of things. They keep on saying it 1,000 times and they still don't get it. And instead of changing the method of teaching that person, they continue to pound on their frustration and yelling and doing that. So you already created a wall in front of that relationship, and you're never going to get anywhere. And that's exactly what I see, like at the micro level and at the macro level, where everybody at the city just puts up a wall because they don't know how to communicate with each other. And that's like, I guess, God willing, in there, maybe I'm wrong, but it sure seems like.
Yeah, you're correct. You mentioned something there, the stumbling blocks, or they're always putting bumps ahead. Yeah. We've been, like a set of Savada, and we're trying to expand, and we're offered several buildings in other areas to expand because we need to build competitors, we need to build everything else, and we're going to leave the same place here. We wanted to build elsewhere to place a boxing ring and reach out more for kids. That's what it's all about. It's about building future leaders. That's what we pride ourselves on. And is some of the places that we're looking at were buildings where were built right on the street. There were old parks down there was no parking. Mm-hmm. And when I call building and zoning and so on and building, and can we put it in this area? Oh no, we can't, because you can't park in the street. Well, that building has been there since 1920. That other building's been there since the 40s. Where do you want them to park? Yeah. And then you talk to the councilman. Oh, we're very small business friendly. We want to build these old sections. Well, you guys have to start changing ordinances if you want that to happen.
Yeah,
you have to start thinking because
it can happen. Look, I agree with you that this city, as old as it's been, that you try to get things done, but that's what I'm telling you. You get to the point where you're met with cynicism, and there's zero optimism. Okay, how do we make it work? No, it's impossible. You're not going to get it done. It's about, and that's it. It's over. And so that dream or that little area just goes away, right? Yeah. You can't do anything. Well, that's why you get the way downtown is right now. That's why you get all these other places that don't, because the answer is absolutely not. And you don't do anything instead of thinking outside the box and figuring out how you can make that work. And there's perfect examples downtown that they made that work. There's some buildings in there that they've made it work because they became a little bit more they're genuine in their thinking and a little bit outside the box thinking, and they figured out a way. But those are the juices that you want. Those are the mentality that you want. If you want to move the city forward, that's the mentality you have to have. You cannot be no, and no is that it. And sometimes when it's like when people say, well, you pray to God and you expect answers. Well, sometimes the answer is no. He tells you no. Well, sometimes the answer is going to be no. Okay, but at least you're going to have a why why not? And then why, and the only other way we can do it, and the only, not just a definite no with a cold face that tells you absolutely not, that's it, go away. That's that, you know, I've heard that 1,000 times, and that's not what we're about. We have to be customer oriented. We need to become a little bit friendlier in that aspect of it, of doing things. But we need to transfer that because we need to also respect the people that are doing that inside, you know. And I think that's what I'm telling you. I think it's more philosophical in the thinking and the structural ambiguities that are in there, that the people are not, and why are they not doing what they're supposed to? But all those things that need to be looked at before we even start thinking about, for me, before I start sitting on that chair and start telling everybody what to do, you don't even know what's going on in there. So I think that's one of the things that I've learned in all my years, you know, and serving my city. And because I've gotten, you know, kicked around also. I've had a lot of no's, you know, but for every no, there was a yes waiting there, you know. So I'm an optimist, man. I you know, I don't, you know, I look at everything with a way of getting it done. That's just my thing, because, you know, if it doesn't work, well, how can we make it work? Okay, that complies with everything around you. And if the difference is that much, and you're not willing to be malleable to make those changes, then we're wrong, and the city's wrong. And that's, I think, what you're talking about earlier. They just, I mean, no budging, no nothing. You know, that's crazy.
And you know, and we have to start understanding, if we want it to grow forward, we have to start moving that. We have to protect. To me, is this: we have to protect the small businesses. Mm-hmm. We've lost a lot of them. You go to the mall; it's a third's closed. It's empty. We have to start bringing back those small businesses and start helping them out, because that is the backbone of our community. We have to bring in jobs, maybe bring in a couple of manufacturing jobs in here, and start thinking about how we're going to bring that forward. Maybe, you know, and quit losing factories to the Valley and to San Antonio. We have to change the way we think about that. We have to start, you know, yes, okay, we're not number one land port in the nation, and we have trucking, everything else, fine. But how about everything else that's around? I think we have to redirect ourselves with some of the other departments. And remember, we have great people in there. And I think they're frustrated too, because a lot of them talk about the problems, and they, you know, to you and to me, and they'll say, hey, this is going on. What do you think we should do about it? And it's pretty hard. I think we need to realize safety concerns with the city, the water. We fix the water and the not only the secondary water source, but also the way, or you know, how many water boils that we had in the last 3 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we have to we have to start fixing that and address that and take care of that, instead of saying, oh, those people were complaining. And I think you have a good mind in looking at that, and that's what we need. Overall, we have some good leaders that we have in there, and I think they've been bombarded from all different areas. Yeah. But I think that we need to start thinking, like you said, they have to sit down and actually say, you know what are the main issues that are wrong? If everybody's complaining about being friendly, customer friendly throughout the departments, then we have to change that, because that's a culture that's already here, and we have to start looking and bring in somebody to start teaching people how to be a little bit more friendlier. And I think everything has a solution if you look for it.
Yeah. Look, the whole idea of and by the way, you touched upon, you know, import export is our biggest business, you know, down here. So we should protect that. We should really, and there are some incredibly bright people out there. I mean, and they have to be, because the companies that they're dealing with, these are Fortune 500 companies that are out there that are telling them, this is the way I want you to do it, and they're doing it. It used to be a sense of thinking that, well, they're getting a bunch of people from Laredo to work over there and not paying them anything. Maybe some of that exists, but no. The Lifeline, but right now at LSD, we started a business program over here. We're trying to promote those things. Those are career jobs that are in there. You know, the Border Patrol, all these government jobs that come because of all this import-export and the necessity to have that. That's the wheels of the economy in this city keep on going, because this industry keeps on booming. It used to be the oil and gas, not so much now, but this one is going to be here whether you like it or not. And you've seen the expansion from here to San Antonio, so it's going crazy. So it's here to stay. Probably won't peak till after I'm gone, right? But
Yeah.
there are some incredibly, I mean, very well-versed people in what they want for this city to do for them so that they can create a better service pattern for their customers. And we need to embrace that. We need to make sure that we embrace what they need so that it can be better. Yes, we didn't think about the damage that the streets were going to take. And yes, we still need a lot of improvement on I-35 all the way to San Antonio. But guess who's thinking about all of that? San Antonio is. I remember back in the day with the one I told you earlier, Laredo was the gateway to Mexico.
Yeah.
And that was something that a group of people back in the late 80s, early 90s, started. And I remember about 10, 15 years ago, San Antonio started taking that away from us because they were advertising at a global level that San Antonio, Texas is the gateway to Mexico.
Yes, so I remember.
Getting manufacturing plants over there, right? So they wanted, the Valley and San Antonio want to eat our lunch. There's no there, and they don't hide it, And if we keep tripping over ourselves and not create a good team effort to try and combat that, then they are going to eat our lunch. And we can't always rest on our laurels thinking, we're the biggest import, import in the biggest port in the United States. We can't rest our laurels on that. We got to prove it. We got to make sure that we have all the infrastructure in place, the water in place, especially to get all that stuff. And we need to be smarter than that. We need to, it's kind of, serving and being in public service for all this time, it's a thankless job. It really is. If you allow it to be, but all the gains that you have can really, really push you to the next level. And thinking, I'm super proud of what I've done, but even in light of all the noise that was coming around you, that's what this council needs to do. Like block out the noise and concentrate on the problem at hand and the task at hand. And let's get that done, and then we move on to the next one. But make sure that we do this right so it doesn't come back to bite us anymore, and just continue to chop away at that tree.
Let me. You said something that was very good, and you said McAllen and San Antonio are eating our lunch. They have for the longest time.
Well, they want to. They want. Yeah, they're doing it in certain ways, but we're fighting back. But we need to fight far harder.
And right now we have no excuse because we have a congressman. We have a Texas senator here. We have 2 representatives, Texas representatives that are here. We have all the help that we have from the state and we have the resources to say, you know what, McAllen's not going to take us, neither is San Antonio. Let's start moving forward. And we have to use those resources, but you can't use those resources when you have people at the county's doing good. But when you have people in the city, that's all over the place. Everybody has to come down and it's Laredo. It's not South Laredo. It's not North Laredo. It's not West Laredo. It's Laredo. Once you become a city councilman, you become a city councilman of Laredo. Right. Even though you have a district, it's everything. It encompasses. And that teamwork has to come into that. And it's not like, and that's what we don't have right now. I think we don't have that teamwork. Everybody's still, this is my neighborhood. I don't care what happens to yours. I'm gonna work. And yes, granted, but right now at one time we also have to work for the benefit of the whole Laredo. That's why you are Laredo City Council person.
Yeah, no doubt. That you hit it on the head right there. For all the success that we've had at LISD, from the moment I got there, we were a very cohesive board. And it was at our I got there at our worst level. They had given bad grades to getting pretty much ready to close down, not close down, but I mean, we got F ratings on like 12 campuses, right? With a new rating system that they had or whatever. So we bared down and everything. And now, all of a sudden, 10 years later, we're at the top of our game, but we resolved those issues because we worked together. And then we were solution-based ideas. We were cohesive in getting it done. We created a game plan that was attainable and sustainable and that had measurable results. But at the end of the day, we had our people internally doing the work and allowed them to do the work. It's like telling me, hey, telling the surgeon, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Well, let the surgeon do his job. That's what he does. Same thing over here. Let the accountants and let the teachers do their job and get the people out of their way because they know how to fix a problem. And I think that's what's going on in a lot of ways. We're just tripping over ourselves because we think we know better than the other person. When you are you're starting off in this position, like I said, there's a learning curve in there, and you have to pick up a lot of stuff in a short period of time. But you cannot go in there, or you can do it, but you're not going to be very successful. Go in there thinking that you know everything more than everybody else. And that's the mentality sometimes that I see, where it's just a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of ignorance, because they still don't know everything how it works, and so you have these problems, and rightfully so. You're supposed to have those problems because you didn't. There's a certain timeline. There's a certain process when you get elected. When you start hitting on all cylinders, but you have to go through the process of learning, keeping your eyes and ears open, and just absorbing everything, and then figure it out, all the intricacies of how everything works. Then you can start applying everything that you know and start doing the job. And so a lot of things in my coaching experience in the past of doing this is what has made me good at thinking that way. Because if you want to put a team together, you're just not going to go out there without a game plan. You have to have a game plan, whether it works or not, and have a game plan as it is. We win or lose by this game plan. We lost, then we tweak it till we get together like that. And so my mentality has always been that we're not going to go in there because one council person leads. They tell you these at conferences that you go to. Once you have a body, a school board or a council chamber or anything like that works in cliques, a group of people that stick together no matter what, it's over. You're not going to get anything done. You're going to stagnate right there. And so you have to leave your ego at home. You kind of have to understand that it's not about you, it's about the city. And you have to understand that, sometimes you're going to get your butt kicked and you have to get up and do it again, but rightfully so. And you have to be able to say, I'm wrong more than anything else. I'm wrong. This was a bad decision on my end. Sorry about that. I'll make it up. Because if, I used to tell when I first ran, I said, I'm not running to get reelected. I'm running to do a job. And if I do it well, I'm going to get reelected. But the mentality has been in a lot of positions, public positions, that you're constantly running to get reelected. So you're just wasting time. You're just you're just taking up space if you're doing that. You got to go out and give it your best shot, and you're going to learn, you're going to make mistakes, and understand that you got to be man enough or woman enough to say, hey, I was wrong, but I'm still learning and I want to do it, and show that goodness from your end that you're doing that. But if you're going in there and you're automatically showing that you're in it for yourselves and you want to just do things your way and that's it, then I think a lot of it you're gonna be spitting. You're not gonna get anything done. You're gonna create animosity. Nobody's gonna be happy. Morale's gonna go down. Then you're gonna get mass exodus. People are gonna leave their job because they're not happy. So. And those people are going to say, well, we'll hire somebody else. Yeah. So now you got to train them and get everything going again and blah, blah, blah. It just creates a big old mess. Instead of just pulling your foolish pride, leaving your foolish pride at home, and let's get to work. And that's it. It's just a pretty simple process.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with this one. And you said it. Once you start getting clicks, and that's what happened here for the longest time. That's why a lot of people look at it as a dysfunctional municipality. And it's sad, and I'm saying it. I love Laredo. I'm here. You do too.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff for the differences communities, and we do a lot of things out there to make things. Everything's a little circled, and it's just circling around, moving forward. There's certain things that I see that are wrong, and you kind of bring it to the attention of somebody. Then they kind of see it, and they start looking into that direction. But when you go in there, you said it. The clicks and the pride, and the click should be Laredo proud. I'm from Laredo. You remember that old saying that they used to have? They used to have a billboard, and they used to have a billboard like going towards the college. They used to say, "Let's keep the buck in Laredo."
Yeah.
Remember that saying? Let's keep the buck in Laredo. In the 80s, and I used to look at that and say, okay, that's what it's all about. This is Laredo, is my hometown. This is what it's supposed to go. Let's keep moving forward. Let's try making it grow big. And I think we have lost it. I think some people still have that mentality. but I think that we have lost it, and I think we have to bring that back. And we have to bring it back in unison across the board with everything and in all businesses.
Yeah.
Not have businesses fighting against others. And that's what we need to fix.
Yeah, I think my generation and our generation, I remember that. I still take pride in doing that. I've had my business for close to 30 some odd years, 30 years. I've been in business, self-employed this whole time. And it matters to people that are in business that you spend your money here, that the buck stays here. It does. I'm willing. Look, I don't go out of town very often, and that's part of the reason. I don't have everything that I need here in this town. I love my city. I had a chance to move anywhere in the country when I graduated college, and I came back because I'm still very comfortable. I'm very comfortable here. I can go to all four corners of the city, and I know somebody that's gonna give me a handshake and a smile, and I know people because that the old school values are still there. We need to take care of each other. We need to take care of the city that way, And like I said, excuse me. The whole mantra and the whole idea of just fixing your own little corner of the world means that's what it means, and that's why I feel free to go anywhere in this town, and I'm gonna see a friendly face because it's there. It's there. Just a lot of people, I wish there was a publication or something like this in this format that you have that just talked about the positives.
Yes.
We're constantly, I mean, the national political mess that we have out there and the state has gotten ugly doing that the same way. They focus so much on the negativity that they forgot about all the greatness we have. And so they beat down people, those type of people that just bring people down so that they can lift themselves up, without understanding that there's a bigger damage to doing all of that. The Buck Stops here in Laredo was a great promotion because it meant something to everybody here. There was, I'm not kidding you. I guarantee you, there's a lot of people in my generation said, well, let's go to San Antonio. I still say that to my kids and everybody. I don't want to spend a dime over there. I want to leave that dime here in
Absolutely.
town. We have everything that we need here. You don't need to go over there. There's a show or whatever else. You want to go see the Spurs, no big deal. But anything else other than that, that you don't find here, then I don't have a problem with. But if you're gonna go eat at the same restaurant in San Antonio that you have here, then and it's because it's much nicer over there. Yeah, but you're gonna go spend that money over there, and you should have just left it here. I think that's the more prudent way of thinking it.
I'm with you 100% with that, and we have to bring that back, and we have to that's what we try to pride ourselves with Gloves Off, trying to see what's here, what solutions we have, where we can go with it, and move forward. And especially the small businesses. And I tell this to any small business owner that's out there: if you have a story, bring it out. We'd love to hear it. People love to hear it and what you do. Yeah. So we have to protect every small business that's here. That's my main thing. I saw the horrors go 2020, and I saw a lot of people that we try to help out and go under and try to go into that rabbit hole that's very ugly, and we pulled them out. And thank God with Pillar and Scan, we helped a lot of people out there because we started recognizing that.
Sure.
And it was ugly to see that how the citizens turned on the small businesses because of something that was being said. And that to me was very disheartening. And I think it's changing now. I think people are waking up to what occurred. And I think now we're seeing a lot better movement. And I think you're going to see a different moving forward. Like you said, you're going to see that pride come back in there, that being proud of being.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to give it my best, shot at doing that. We need to bring those, that mentality back. Look, you touched upon something earlier about the kids in town, and I got to say it because I constantly say it. Anybody that knows me, I am selling LISD every time that you see me, and how well we're doing. We're hitting roadblocks right now. So the governor is defunding our schools, and teachers are getting upset. And we have people even like that. Teachers are still showing up to do their job, and they can complain 100% of the day if they want to, rightfully so. What they're going through is just and what the state is doing right now, it is an injustice. It is a complete ignoramus point of view that they have, that our governor has, that is killing, the traditions of public schools and everything that we do over there. These teachers are fantastic at what they do. So this is what I was going to get at about our population, because it could transfer from generation to generation. That if all this negativity that goes on at the national level, at the state level and everything, the kids are watching all the time. That's why I tell everybody, you better watch what you say. The kids are watching, just like at home. Watch your language because the kids are listening. And so people now, I get adults on a daily basis. Oh, kids nowadays are they're entitled, and that's BS. They are the same kids that when I was in school. I see them there every day. Yes, you're going to have the same bad kids that you had back then in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. They're still there. Those are the ones you're talking about. But the ones that are good and that are doing well are there just like we were, right? And so, but they're under 100 times more stress than we are. There's this with social media and all the stuff that's going on around them. These poor kids are having to jump a higher hurdle. And then to top it off, you tell them to graduate high school because there's a better life for you over there. And here comes the educational system, the higher level learning system that's quadrupled or quintupled in their pricing to get an education. And then you're telling them, hey, go to college, but where am I going to get the money to do that? And then you ask him, you ask the government to, and whatever your mentality is, to help them out. Well, that's socialism. Good. Want an ignorant society? Continue to go the route that you want right now. But that transfers to the city of Laredo later on. And then people go, well, all the smart ones leave town. Well, yeah, there's more opportunity for those smart ones out there, but you're not creating homegrown smart. And so over the last 20 years, I've seen that. It's been very, very plain. The smart ones should leave. The ones that have better opportunity in the bigger cities should go out there and find their dream. That's fine. But there's also smart ones here, very smart ones here that want to stay here, just like guys like me that wanted to come back instead of leave, that want to do better for our city. And we have to nurture that. We have to continue to guide it, because that is the tree of life right there. If we don't continue to support it and nurse that tree, we're going to pay a dear price over the next 10, 20 years, because we're not going to be able to fill up all those jobs that are coming up with import-export. We're not going to be able to fill them in. All the government jobs, Border Patrol, we're not going to be able to fill them in. Why? Because we're not graduating the kids at the level that they need to. So it is a big deal for me. And this is a great transformation for me to come from the school system into the city system, because there's a lot of things that I learned here that I can offer to the city, given the chance, and that I know that I can see from a mile away that what's going on. That it can be a simple fix or it can be hard, but either way, it's fixed.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more. The campaign, the elections is in November, correct?
Right.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you and says they want to help you out in your campaign, how can they do that?
My phone number is 956-285-5984. I'm doing it old school. I'm giving you my phone number. Call me up. We'll meet up. I want to get to know you. Why do you want to donate to my campaign? Why do you want to? Well, what do you see as, what do you want to see at the city? I want to hear those stories. Those small business stories that you're talking about. That was mine. We all have a great story to say.
Absolutely.
And there's people out there dying to say it. They're dying to say it. But you can pick up a lot of things when you hear their problems. You can pick up a lot of things about, solution-based ideas, like I'm telling you. A lot of things that there are quick fixes, maybe, that can happen. But those great stories are no less than the story of that little girl from Laredo that made it all the way to the Olympics. She worked her buns off to get there, right? And she needed to do that because that's the only way you can get it done. And she saw obstacles in there. So all those businesses, small businesses that are out there, and people, there's just so many more roadblocks now for everything, for success now. The saying goes that there's no shortcut to success. The only problem is that the road less traveled has way more obstacles to go through to get to success than when I was growing up. And so all these kids get their futures and their dreams get bogged down because of all these little obstacles that are in the way now, and they can't grow to fulfill their, fulfill their dreams. So that little girl is a fantastic story. It should be plastered in the newspaper and in the news every day of how she got there. That is a fantastic story. The whole city should be proud of that.
Absolutely. And you touched on something there. It's those dreams that have been in there. And when you have a lot of little obstacles coming in there, especially from the people that are supposed to protect us, and then you see other cities like McAllen and San Antonio with no obstacles, people are going to leave. So we have to start understanding what those obstacles and hurdles are being done here at the city, and start saying, you know what, we need to change them. And if we have to change policies and regulations, we have to start doing that. If we have to start placing people in building inspections that have a little bit more friendlier and less rude, we have to do that. And we have to understand that business, and they're in the business, sometimes you have to fire people, and sometimes you have to hire people, and the hiring and firing have to be done. And I think people here in Laredo, they don't want to do that. So instead, and what I've seen in the last 20 years, 25 years, is they like playing musical chairs. They messed up in this department. Okay, now we're going to put you over here in this other department. But you just went to that.
You transfer the problem from one side to the other. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm going, wow, you sure fix that. You just transferred that problem to the next area. And that's exactly what, yeah, no doubt. Hey, look, I'm not going to lie to you. It happened over here. It happens over here also. There are rules and regulations, and there's policies and procedures that are in place. But, there's a lot of reasons sometimes that you can't get rid of people. It takes an act of Congress to get it done, in a lot of ways, and it costs you. So you learn how to fix it and educate it and remove all the knots and straighten it out again. But all of that takes time and money. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that every day that I wake up, and every day that you wake up, and every small business owner is out there, you spend money. Something's going to cost you, right? And it's up to us to figure out every day how to become more efficient and spend less, become more, to make money, to feed our families, to invest in our community, to do all these type of things. We really don't need any other entity to go out there and give us one more expenditure because they don't want to get anybody mad downtown, or they have an attitude problem, or they have personal issues that they're bringing to work. Who does that help? That's the thing about what I see, for our city. Like I said, there's a lot of great things going on. I think we just need to bear down and figure out what those things continue to be and make it better. Number one, well, good, we make it better. Number two, we find the absolute problem at the cellular level and the problem areas and fix it from that point on. But I think vision, but to do that, it requires vision to do that, and it requires a great game plan to get that done. It's not going to happen overnight. It might not happen in one term that I'm there, but I'm going to certainly keep the ball rolling, so it can be headed in that direction. And I can guarantee you, because I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've worked with my own hands, that we bear down together and we fix it. Every problem can be solved. But you're not going to solve it by accusing people of, this one's wrong, this one's corrupt, this one's this one's that, and all this BS that's around there. You need to act like an adult and go out there and get the bull by the horns and bear down and fix the problem before the problem gets to you, rather than the problem getting to you and then trying to fix it. That's what I was telling you about the whole defensive attitude. They're just playing defense, waiting for the problem to come to them. No, I want to grab the bull by the horns, get the problem solved, and then move on to the next problem. Let's solve that one, and just continue to move on. And I think that's where a lot of the skepticism and a lot of the cynicism that's around there will leave the city. But it's going to take some time to get it done, and I know that for a fact.
Absolutely. Well, we're running out of time, and I want to thank you for, number one, putting your name down there and signing on the dotted line, because it takes courage.
Yeah.
So, and,
happy to do it. Happy to do it. Yeah, very happy to do it.
And how about this? It's November. Is it running concurrent with?
It's running with the national elections. It's an national election, general election year. So the voter turnout is going to be huge. Just encourage everybody at District 4 to come out and vote. You know, you start seeing my signs. This is the early part of August. You start seeing my signs and all that go up already between now and the middle of the month. I've already been contacting people. I'm sure a lot of people in my neighborhood and District 4 have already called. People that I admire, people that are my neighbors, people that are my friends. All of them know, you know, that I'm running. So the signs are going to go up. It's part of the process thing for the next close to 80 some odd days. Is going to be, you know, just continuing to remind everybody that I'm out there, that I'm going to be working for them, and that there's greatness on the other side of this. There is greatness. There's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to do. I'm going to be proud of because I'm here to serve, and I'm not here. Let me put it to you this way: I'm old enough right now that I can tell you I'm not here to waste my time on petty things. I'm not. I've already said it out loud over here. Because the petty doesn't solve anything. It just doesn't. I'm here to really work on problem solving. And that problem solving is going to be at a higher scale. And the reason that it has to be that way is because I really think we're kind of clogged up right now. I need to open up that clog so that we can let the water run so that we can thrive as a state and explode economically and culturally and all that kind of stuff. So very excited to do that. So yeah, you'll start seeing my signs go up this next week.
Absolutely. Want to thank you once more, and folks out there. This is Mr. Rick Garza. He's running for City Council District 4.
District 4. Yeah.
And so keep an eye on there. And this is open to anybody who's running, not only in this race and all the other races. Any candidate coming out here, you know, tell us why. Yeah, and they should, you know, people need to listen and figure out where everybody's at. And I'm glad that you came out here. Once more, we're going to leave you all with this. You all stay safe, be safe, and God bless you. Until next time. Much peace.
Amen.
Have you ever wondered about what happens in a martial arts studio? Well, you start right away by setting goals, building determination, gaining focus, building skills, all while becoming more fit, gaining confidence, and learning self-defense. Buitron Academy is a school where attitude meets aptitude. So give us a call at 956-401-4868.